Good morning, students. Let's continue our chapter 3 from the supplementary reading. Ishwaran, the storyteller. We are on page 15. Come to the second last paragraph. You know, sir, this entire factory area we are occupying was once a burial ground. He started. Mahendra was jerked out of the pleasant reverie he had drifted into after the satisfying meal. Now, students, you know that Ishwaran was already telling the stories to Mahendra. And we also saw yesterday how he told the story about the elephant and the mahout. How elephant had entered into the school campus, and we saw the way he was behaving. And so, after that, Ishwaran had provided good meal to Mahendra. But then, what is that? After that, he continues telling the stories. And so he says, you know, sir, this entire factory where they are right now, this entire factory area which we are occupying, which we are staying now, was once a burial ground. What do you understand by the burial ground? Once where the dead bodies were buried. Mahendra was jerked out. He was taken aback all of a sudden. The pleasant reverie, that is a daydream, he had drifted into after the satisfying meal. So, after enjoying such a lovely meal and all, he was jerked, he was taken aback. I knew on the first day itself, when I saw a human skull lying on the path. Even now, I come across a number of skulls and bones. Ishwaran continued. What Ishwaran is saying? He first says that this entire ground, this area was a burial ground. But later on, what does he continue? He says that, see, I knew that. On the first day itself, I knew that because I had seen the human skull. Okay? The dead person's skull. Okay? So what he says, and even I get to see still a number of skulls and bones, which Ishwaran continued. Now, as if he is confirming that I still get to see here. Students, let's turn the page. Come to the next page, page number 16. Over here you can see the picture. Ishwaran over here. And see the skull. One skull is shown over here. And he's saying, I still get to see many skulls. Then, let's see. He went on to narrate how he sometimes saw ghosts at night. I am not easily frightened by these things, sir. I am a brave fellow. But one horrible ghost of a woman which appears off and on at midnight during the full moon. It is an ugly creature with matted hair and shivered face, like a skeleton holding a fetus in its arms. So, what is he saying? Like, he went on narrating, he went on telling the story that I saw, sometimes I see, in the night I get to see the ghost. And what type of ghost? He's saying I am not frightened of it. It is like on the full moon day I get to see, and it is a horrible ghost of a woman which appears off and on, comes and goes midnight during the full moon day, and it's an ugly creature with matted hair. What does it have? A matted hair and a shriveled face. What is the meaning of shriveled face? Faded face. He is not able to see properly, and hair too, which are natural, going up and down. It's an ugly creature. And then, like a skeleton holding a fetus in its arm. Now, what is the skeleton holding? A fetus of a child maybe, okay? Then, you see, Mahendra shivered at night. Mahendra shivered at the description and interpreted rather sharply. Now, Mahendra shivered at the description. The description is the way it was narrated and interrupted rather sharply. Okay? He stopped in between and said, what? You are crazy, Ishwaran. There are no such things as ghosts or spirits. Mahendra does not believe in the ghosts or as in the spirits. It is all a figment of your imagination. It is all your imagination. There are no such things. You are imagining in this way. Get your digestive system examined. You get your digestive system examined. Check that. examine and check that what is wrong with you, and maybe your head as well. You are talking nonsense. Till now, Mahendra was enjoying, but right now, when the story came of the ghost and the spirit, so Mahendra does not believe in this type of things. So he's telling, you need to get yourself checked. Not only your digestive system, but your head as well, to see what's wrong with you. You are talking nonsense. There are no ghosts, there are no skulls, there is no woman appearing in the day and night. Then he left the room and retired for the night, expecting Ishwaran to sulk for a couple of days. But the next morning he was surprised to find the cook as cheerful and talkative as ever. So why? He went, after saying that, he went back to his room to sleep. He thought now Ishwaran will be little quiet for few days. He may not speak about this type of rubbish. But the next morning he was surprised to see that Ishwaran, the cook, had already he was already awake, and then he was waken up, and then he was very cheerful and talkative as ever, the way he was talking before. From that day on, Mahendra, for all his brave talk, went to bed with a certain unease. Okay, from that day on, Mahendra, for all his brave talk, went to bed with a certain unease. The day which had happened, he had talked about the ghost and all, Mahendra was not very comfortable. He was little bit uneasy. Every night he peered into the darkness. Every night he looked into the darkness. Every night he peered into the darkness. And what was that? What is he going to see now? Look here. Outside, he peered into the darkness outside through the window next to his bed, trying to make sure that there was no movement of dark shapes in the vicinity. But he could only see a sea of darkness with the twinkling lights of the factory miles away. So what is he seeing, student? He wants to make sure that what Ishwaran was saying, like a woman appears, she comes and goes off. So he wanted to make sure, is it true or no? But all that he could see was only sea of darkness with the twinkling lights of the factory miles away, very far away. And what area was the factory? It was the earlier burial ground. That is what Ishwaran was saying. Ishwaran would sometimes make up the stories also. He had always liked to admire the milk white landscape on full moon nights. But after hearing Ishwaran's story of the female ghost, he avoided looking out of his window altogether when the moon was full. So see how the Ishwaran story had the impact on Mahendra. Though Mahendra earlier did not believe in this type of things, but he is somewhere scared. Though he used to appreciate earlier on the full moon day looking out of his window. He liked the scenery, he liked to look at the landscape. But now that milk white landscape on the full moon day he would enjoy, he would appreciate, he would admire. But now after Ishwaran's story, he is scared. Now come to the next paragraph. One night Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moan close to his window. At first he put it down to a cat prowling around for mice, but the sound was too guttural for a cat. So one night Mahendra was woken up. He got up from the sleep. He was woken up by something. And what was that? The low moan close to his window. He heard moaning, crying of someone. And what was it? So at first he put it down to a cat prowling around for mice. What is the meaning of prowling, students? Meaning of the prowling is lurking around for the mice, searching for the mice. Okay, but the sound was too guttural. Okay, the sound was a bit harsh for a cat. It cannot be a cat. He resisted the curiosity to look out, lest he should behold a sight which would stop his heart. So he resisted. He stopped. He did not look out of curiosity to see what was there, because in case it is something else, and his heart would stop. So he doesn't look. But the wailing became louder and less feline. Okay, then What is the meaning of wailing over here? Crying became louder and less feline. It was a bit weak also, and then he could not resist the temptation anymore. So wailing became louder and louder. So after that louder cry of the cat, which was getting louder and feline, which is the characteristic like feline, no? So cat-like characteristic. He could not resist the temptation anymore. Lowering himself to the level of the window sill, he looked out at the white sheet of moonlight outside. So he could not resist the temptation. He couldn't stop the temptation of looking out what is exactly happening. And then what did he see? Lowering himself to the level of the window sill, he lowered himself and then he saw out at the white sheet of the moonlight outside. There, not too far away, was a dark cloudy form clutching a bundle. So he saw a dark cloudy form clutching, having a grasp of it, of a bundle. Mahendra, as he gradually recovered from the ghastly experience, he began to reason with himself and finally concluded that it must have been some sort of auto-suggestion, some trick that his subconscious had played on him. Subconscious mind, you have students, conscious mind and subconscious mind. So what is he thinking? The subconscious, the inner conscience must have been playing because he had already heard about the ghost, and so he is thinking it is something to do with it now. And so, the meaning of the ghastly, we have seen yesterday, the meaning of the ghastly is a frightening. Okay? So, what does he say? From the ghastly, that frightening experience, he had begun to reason himself. He had begun to reason. Which was that experience about the Ishwaran telling about the woman who comes in the night. And so that is how he must be thinking about it. There may not be anything else. Then, by the time he had got up in the morning, had a bath and come out to have his breakfast, the horror of the previous night had faded from his memory. So morning when he got up, he had bath and all, when he came to have his breakfast, that memory of the previous night, the night what he had the dream or whatever he saw, it was forgotten. He had completely forgotten about it. It had already gone away from his mind. Ishwaran greeted him at the door with his lunch packet and his bag. Just as Mahendra was stepping out, Ishwaran grinned and said, "Sir, remember the other day when I was telling you about the female ghost with a fetus in its arms? You were so angry with me for imagining things. Well, you saw her yourself last night. I came running, hearing the sound of moaning that was coming from your room." So see what Ishwaran is doing? Ishwaran is, after having the breakfast of Mahendra, he is giving his tiffin, his lunch box, and he is saying, see, the other day when I told you, you were angry, you were telling me to check my mind, to go to the doctor, to check my digestive system, but last night I came running to your room. Why? Because I heard that moaning sound from your room, and I ran to your room. You see, moaning that was coming from your room. Now, a chill went down Mahendra's spine. He did not wait for Ishwaran to complete his sentence. He hurried away to his office and handed to his papers, resolving to leave the haunted place the very next day. So, the next day itself, he wanted to leave the place. He said it could be real, it was a burial ground, there could be the skulls, there could be this type of ghostly appearance where a woman comes, which was very much horrifying. And so, with this, he says that, and he goes to give his resignation. He decides to leave the company. He does not want to leave that area anymore. And so, students, by whom it is the story written? By R.K. Lakshman. We have finished the chapter over here. This time I did not give you the short question answers. But students, I want you to prepare this time. You will find out, and I want to see who prepares the maximum short question answers. Of course, you have to do your textual question answers. Look here. These are the think about it, and these are the questions which you have to answer. This is in your fair book. This is a textual homework. But what is my homework for this 2 to 3 days, which I haven't sent you the question answers? You will find out and you will prepare this time the short question answers. I want to see how many you can prepare on your own, how many questions you can make on your own. I'm going to end the chapter over here. Let's stop over here. Have a good day. See you another day. Bye.